Here's what a bank does. Very simple. Commercial banks take in deposits from businesses and from individuals. They give you, as I'm sure you've noticed, next to nothing for that deposit. You're supposed to be grateful that they're holding it for you, that it's safe, and that you get a monthly document telling you what's been happening to it. That costs them next to nothing. They then take your deposit, your money, and lend it out wherever they can get the highest rate of return, to a corporate borrower, to an individual to use as their credit card backup, and so on. In other words, the bank lives off the difference between what it pays you for your money, very little, and what it gets by lending your money out, which can be significant. One of the most important investments banks make is they buy government bonds. In other words, they take the deposit you put in and they lend it to the United States government. Here's what Silicon Valley Bank did. It took in deposits and it made loans to local startups and it bought government bonds. And that's what it did, and it made a lot of money for a bunch of years doing that. Then, starting some months ago, high tech encountered difficulties. It laid off hundreds of thousands of its workers in Silicon Valley particularly, but all over. Of course, if the high-tech company cuts back its operations, it puts less deposits in the bank. It doesn't need them for the business that's now reduced. Well, there's a problem. If people want their deposits out and new ones aren't coming in, the only place you can go, really, to give the depositors their money back is to go to the bonds that you purchased and sell them and get the money and give it to your depositor. Just reverse the normal process. Here's the problem. The bonds have a price. When you lend to the government, you get a piece of paper or electronically. You've lent the government $1 million. We'll pay you back in 2 years and 6 months, and we'll give you this interest every year. That's how it works. If the interest rates go up, the price of the bond goes down. Since the interest rates went up dramatically over the last 8 months, in order why? To fight the inflation that really troubles the American economy, the bonds went down, so the bank didn't have the wherewithal to meet the demands of the depositors who wanted their money back. Then it made a fatal mistake because they're not the sharpest knives in the drawer. The bank went out into the market and said, we need more money, we need more capital. Here's a bunch of shares. What that did, which they should have known, was to confirm in a relatively small number of people who pay folks like me to keep them abreast of what's going on. They said, oh my God, it's worse than we thought. And that began, get your money out. Here's the thing that people have to kind of face, hard as it is. Money is what lubricates a capitalist economy. Money is what we're paid. Money is what we spend to feed ourselves, to clothe ourselves. Money makes the capitalist world go around. And so we all depend on the money system. But what we allow is an enormous influence on the money system is operated by private banks. If you talk to those bankers, they will tell you, and this is honest, we're in business to make money. We're in business to make a profit. We've now arranged for a system that we all depend on, that our society and our economy depend on, but we've placed it in the hands of the people who do not do business according to what the society needs. They're busy making money for their bank. We're in a society that says we have a problem with inflation. If you have a problem with inflation, opening the Fed window to limitless amounts of money is the equivalent of trying to put out a fire by pouring kerosene on it. That's not going to end the fire. That's going to make it flare up. So you're watching a system, and this is what's scary. It's got too many problems converging at the same time. What it does for one worsens the other. It raised interest rates to stop an inflation. It got a bank crisis. It offsets the bank crisis by opening the Fed window. Whoops, that worsens it. This is impossible. And we're watching a society implode. There's really no nice word for this. Every foreign company and individual who has put money in the United States over the years because it's safe, because it's stable, all that's gone. And those people are moving their money out, and it's going to change everything in this country. And the response of our leaders to blame each other is so pathetically inadequate to the problem that it really makes everything worse.